Welcome to the Refill. Welcome to the Refill. I'm your host, Ron Daniel. Listen, we got another great show. We got another great podcast, man. Listen, if you've been rocking with us since day one, you already know how we get down. This is a podcast dedicated to the Christian hip-hop genre, the Christian hip-hop culture, featuring the artists, the DJs, the promoters, the influencers, everybody who make Christian hip-hop, gospel rap, whatever you want to call it. Everybody who make it rock and roll global wide. Listen, tonight we got another great show with another great artist, man. Listen, I'm going to introduce him in a minute, but we got to do some house cleaning real quick. Listen, if y'all been following the show, you know every week we ask y'all to do a number of things. Like, share, comment. Listen, that's something simple. Like, share, comment. Let us know how we getting down. If you're an artist, always email us. We do have artists that email us, want to get on the show. We already booked for September and October. They said, yeah, man, I see what y'all doing down in the dirty South. We want to be a part of that right there. Listen, one last thing. If you want to donate financially, please donate financially. It help us grow this platform. We're not using y'all money to buy rims, houses, J's, these fitted hats we like on our head. We're using it to build a platform. And just like anything else, we need money to grow. Just like y'all go to work and get money to pay bills and buy your cars and all that good stuff, man. We need money too. But listen, I'm not going to hold y'all up, man. Listen. This next, I don't even want to say he an artist, producer, influencer. I think he's all that in one. Because I'm going to tell you, man, when I met this brother, I met him in Huntsville, Alabama years ago. I'm talking about I drove through 5 hours, at least an hour of number of cotton fields to get to his event. I believe it was Oakwood Bible College. We gonna bring him on, man. But right now he's in Atlanta now, man, doing big things. We're gonna talk about it tonight, all the way from Atlanta, GA. Brother E.L. Jones, what's good, bro?
What's going on, Ron Daniel, man?
What's happening, man?
Pleasure to have be here with you tonight, man. This is awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was telling everybody, man, just watching the show. I remember, you know what? I tell people all the time, I know it's a God thing when I can't remember how we even got connected in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember coming to Huntsville, Alabama years ago. Me and 2 other guys I had with me. One was a street team member, the other was an artist. And and I remember coming to Huntsville. I'm like, man, I don't know nobody here in Huntsville. And you did, and you did something for me that I don't think you remember. I'm gonna tell you what you did.
Okay.
We get there. We show up to the event. It's over. We packing up. We walk into the car. You said, hey, man, look, I want you to take this. It was $20. You said, man, take this 20. And you was like, this is what I got. I said, man, look here. I said, man, you just bought us all some rally burgers. We good. I said, we putting cheese on them tonight. And look here, we turned around, went back home, man. And look here, been connected with each other ever since, man. I tell people all the time, I said, man, what we just talked about before the show is, I said, I understand the plight of the gospel rappers. I get it. I understand the struggles. I don't make it hard. And so, bro, introduce yourself to the people, man. We're going to get into this thing. Let everybody know what you got going, man.
Well, it's your man, Pastor E.L. Jones Jr., a.k.a.
Yes,
Pastor J.
Yes, sir.
And, man, yeah, we've known each other, man. It's going on 20 years, man.
Years, man. Yes, sir.
But I actually am a U.S. Army vet. When I met you, man, I had gotten out the Army and just started college, doing my undergrad in theology, and I had gotten hooked on this gospel rap thing.
Right.
I had been struggling in the world, wasn't sure exactly, how I was going to do this Christian thing, because I grew up a hip hop head. I love rap music. And I just was wondering, okay, God, how am I going to give this up and serve you? And then I got turned on to some cats in Augusta, GA. Right. I mean, I'd heard about, Grape Tree, Gospel Gangsters, all them, but I didn't really, I thought it was a limited genre.
Right.
And then I got turned on to my folks, Guys and Anointed Disciples of Christ. And they showed me, real. I kind of clicked up with them, actually did a song with them. And from there I said, God, I've accepted your call to the ministry, but I want to do this music thing as well.
Right.
And when I tell people, if you do what God wants you to do, he'll allow you to do what you want to do.
Yes, sir.
All the stuff that I do, the only thing that I was doing before I decided to become converted and really do this thing was DJing. Everything else, the photography, the video stuff, the internet radio, all that stuff came after I decided to follow Christ.
Right.
And so, from that, I had launched WTBC Radio, and that's how we got connected.
Right.
You saw something I was doing on the internet because I launched that in 2000. Right. And I got the chance to connect with a lot of artists through that. Started putting on the shows because I remember Andale was on that show as well. Right. And I was hurt because I was like, I started doing this show. I even brought Cross Moon to Huntsville, and I wasn't able to. I couldn't get the support I needed, so I was coming out of pocket for a lot of stuff.
Yes, sir.
Because and I was given what I had because I believe in the genre. I believe that it's a tool that God has allowed to come forth to be able to be a blessing to young people, to capture their attention, to redeem folk and spread the gospel by any means necessary. So did the WTBC radio thing through 2012. I was pastoring full time, and I started doing the video stuff. So it I got pulled away from the radio. I miss radio to this day. Right. But I had to go in a different direction, and God has blessed in that arena as well. So I'm just here trying to do the things that are going to please God, make God look good, and help people make God look good.
I like what you said, bro. When you say that's a lot to unpack, man. I'm gonna tell you two things I just get out of that. Folks that's listening, that's called holy hustling. See, they think we can't do that on this side. They think, oh, they just gospel rap. I said, no, Joker, I do that on the weekends. Man, we do all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I like what you said when you said, if you do what God telling you to do, now correct me if I said it wrong, then God will allow you to do what you want to do. And right. I like what you said. That's how I live my life every day, man. I tell people, they say, man, how you got your hands in this, that, and this, and that, and other? I said, man, let me tell you something. It wasn't until June 97, coming back from a Memphis casino, and the Lord was like, look here. We ain't living like this no more. We ain't playing out in these streets no more. And then when I for me, I tell the story all the time. When I left, I wasn't one of them cats. I grew up in church from 8 to 13 years old. Right. And when 13 hit, it was like, Mom was like, you gonna go to church? I was like, no, cause it's boring. Ain't nothing going on in church. And so, they didn't do nothing for the youth. It wasn't exciting. So you start seeing things. You start playing in the streets a little bit. And I said, right around the time I was ready to really dive in and be like, you know what, I'm finna jump at this thing for real and see what can I get out of it. Then God just kind of met me at that next step and said, okay, you really want to do this? That's what you want to do. And so for me, man, I know I had to let it go. And I tell people all the time, I said, man, everything I have is because of the Lord. Everything. It's like everything that I wanted to do in the world, as far as doing worldly things, He allowed me to do here. I tell you, I'm asking this next question. When you first jumped into the whole Christian hip hop space, like, what was your initial thoughts? Like, okay, I'm in it. What's next? Everybody got the same story, but I gotta hear yours, bro. I got to hear your side, man.
Man, I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. Yes, I was like, man, I hooked up with Guys and Anointed Disciples of Christ. I was like, first of all, I'd heard a lot of whack beats. I'd heard a lot of bad music, and I said, man, when I do this thing, it's got to be tight, because I'm old, like I said, old school. My favorite cat was Rakim, right. And then the new cat was Mystical. So, right. I was down in Louisiana for 3.5 years. So that style kind of, got on me. Right. And so when I came out and decided to record something, I had to put that New Orleans beat, you know, that down south, dirty south beat on it, and
Yes,
come
sir.
hard, because I was coming out of the U.S. Army, and now I'm leaving the U.S. Army. Now I'm a soldier for Christ,
Right.
and so you know, I decided to go that route. But my thing was like, okay, I was blessed because my guys, DOC, were producers. I had a buddy in Huntsville that was a producer.
Right.
I had folks around me that I knew I could rock with. I actually just reconnected with another friend of mine from Huntsville, from Holy Alliance, King Faal.
Right.
And you know, he's a dope producer. And so I was blessed to be around people who were bringing the good music. And although I'd heard some bad stuff, I got around some cats that were doing it for real.
Right.
And I was like, thank you, God. And then I got linked up with cross movement people.
Right.
And, you know, then along came 116 and all these cats. So and now the reality is the stuff in the Christian rap arena is way better.
Way better.
Way better.
Yes, sir.
Than anything that's on the radio. And so I'm just glad that God matured it. You know, yeah, there's some cats out there that's, you know, they call themselves Christian, but doing it for money and doing the blingy thing. But there are so many grinders that are real about trying to win souls, real about repping Christ to the fullest. So I'm just grateful for that.
Right. Man, like you said, the music matured. Cause I remember when that thing wasn't bumping, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I know.
Bro, it wasn't slapping. I was like, man, what is this? And then I think I got more in tune. It was two things that kind of in tune me to the whole space. You remember back in the day, Trey 9 had the Saffron line. Okay, that was one. That's why I met a ton of kids. I was like, man, who these boys? They like, man, hey, come to our city, come to our city. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That was one. And then the other one was when we started pushing the label, Divine 7 Entertainment. We still do that now. When we pushed that, cats was submitting all kind of music. I was just listening to it, and I took time out to email them back, like, say, man, maybe you need to work on some make sure the beats ain't bumping, man. They ain't. Look, he said, well, I just started. I said, well, keep working. You know, then they would get discouraged and send an email back. Well, come on, man. You know, we supposed to be brothers. I said, I understand the brothers in Christ thing, but I'm also in tune to, if you throw this out in the streets, cats gonna say you don't want the folks out there to say nothing. They gonna be like, say, man, this mess ain't good. And so, you know, that's the thing.
I gotta interrupt to tell you, man, because you know, as an internet radio, man, I was getting all kind of stuff sent to me.
Right.
I mean, I was getting, and in the beginning, you know, my heart is for the culture. My heart is for the artists. And so I would do the same. I would respond back, man, and try to help and give some pointers. And I had a situation one time where I was in Huntsville, and they sent me, and I knew before I even listened to it was gonna be trash because the packaging was bad. You know, they didn't put no effort into it. And when I put it in, it sounded like it'd been recorded in somebody's bedroom without no soundproof, nothing like that. But I could hear some talent in it. I could hear the talent. I said, these some young cats that would add some talent to it. So I replied back, and so their dad was like, well, you know, they maybe if you can just hear them live, you know, you might be able to do better, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, I'm gonna be rolling through your town. I'll be willing to stop, you know, and listen to you for a minute. So we did that. We set it up, and in person, they killed it. When I tell you right, they killed it. They had the dance moves, everything. I was like, now this is what I'm talking about. I said, but your CD is trash. Right. And I'm very upfront with mine. I don't, you know, I try to be respectful.
I'm the same way, bro. I'm the same way. Hey, man, this guy.
I said, the CD is trash. I said, you need to go in and re-record it. I said, you go in and re-record it, get your product, go into a real studio, record it. You know, I can help you. I'll push it. Man, when I tell you the mother got real, I mean, it was a demonic presence in there. When she was like, hey, that's negativity. And my kids ain't gonna hear negativity. I said, well, if they're gonna be in the music business, they better get used to some negativity.
They better get used to it. Yes, sir.
You know, and I'm trying, you know, I took out my time to stop a business trip to come in and listen, and I'm glad I did, but y'all need to you need to fix what the thing I'm
Right.
pointing out. But they playing it out in California. I said, really? I said, have you heard them play it in California?
Right.
They telling you they playing it. That don't mean they playing it.
Right.
She got real mad then. So mad that the husband was like, he walked out and tried to calm her down and what. But I was like, listen, y'all got to understand. My whole thing is operating in the spirit of excellence.
Yes, sir.
I want it to be right because you're representing a holy God. We're representing a righteous God. We're representing a perfect God. So, none of us gonna be perfect, but our stuff got to be tight.
Right.
That's why when you met about the Zoom and talk about the light, and I said, okay, cool. I don't go set up. I'm gonna make sure it's right.
Right.
Because I don't believe in half stepping.
Yes, sir. And see, we gonna jump on this thing now because I'm with you on that. Look, we can tag team this thing all day because I'm the same one. I'm like, look here, man. Don't be thinking because we talk about Jesus, and rapping and throw God and lyric that we just gotta put some old half made up mess out there to the consumer. I say, cause man, they gonna trash. I tell people all the time, I say, in the music space, in the music industry space, we got to come 2, 3, 4 times harder. You know what I'm saying? The music gotta be bumped. It gotta be mixed and mastered. I'm gonna tell you what a DJ here, a prominent DJ here in the city. I'm talking about this cat that won Dove Awards for his he have a digital radio station. So he didn't, I talked to him and chop it up with him from time to time. And he called me in his office. He said, man, I ain't know what he was calling for. I ain't gonna lie. He was like, hey, man, I just want to meet with you, man. Just want to sit down and talk to you. And so he wanted me to do a Christian rap radio station. This was a few years ago, but it just didn't work. But he told me something. He said, man, I listen to your music, man. He said, he said, bump hard like a Rick Ross. He said, bump hard. Like, he just named all these artists. He said, I'm not saying that to say it. He said, man, it really is good. And he said, I told him, I said, well, that's what I want to hear.
Exactly.
That's what I want to hear. I know that we trying to do it right. But what you saying, man, a lot of cats, especially in the gospel rap space, and I've talked to so many over the years, it was like, when you straight up with them, they don't want to hear that. Like, say, man, this don't sound good, man. This ain't, if you want to, this ain't good. Go spend some money and get it right. Go sit in a real studio. It don't matter if them folks say it or not. They got a studio. Just get in there and get it done. Bro, let me ask you this, bro. You in gospel rap, man. What was it that pushed you to start the radio station, the media space? Because before you answer, I'm going to say this, too. I tell people all the time, I say, man, the thing that's missing in gospel rap is media. And we don't have enough of it. We need enough cats like EL. If somebody say, hey, I got something going on, I'm going to shoot you my music, video, hey, can you interview this and that, this and that? What was it that pushed you to that media space, bro? What did you see back then that made you do it?
Well, I'm going to tell you, the reality is I realized that if I wasn't aware of what was going on, then most other people weren't being made aware of it.
Right.
And so because, like I said, I love the genre, I love the music, and I love God, I wanted to see it push. So it's funny because I actually started my internet radio station, and my dude out in California who used to work, he used to have, I think, gospelzone.com. I think that was a website.
Right, I remember.
Long ago. He contacted me because I was mixing in all the types of genres of music. I was mixing the holy hip hop in with the regular and just had a mix. I had a show in there called Praise Place where I featured urban gospel and Christian rap music. And he emailed me and then he called me. He said, listen, how would you like to be the Christian rap station for Gospel Zone? Mm-hmm. Change your format to be strictly that. I was like, you know what? I'm with it. I said, so I put out the call for people to send me their music, man. I was in all the chat rooms and the message boards and all that. And I'm like, listen, we doing this thing. And it eventually turned into WTBC Jams because at one point I had 5 different stations. But Jams was my urban gospel Christian rap station. And we had all kind of cats on there. We had DJ Sean Blue out of Augusta, DJ I Rock Jesus. I'm trying to think. We had a couple other folks that had shows on there. But my goal was to get the word out. And when I really got, like I said, I got too busy, and I had station managers that kind of, fell off, and I just couldn't do it all myself. And it hurt me because I was doing on-air radio in Huntsville, and then when I was pastoring down in Panama City, Florida, and I still have a burden for it. And there's some things working. Stay tuned to Truly Blessed Media. There's some things we've got in the works. My wife and I, Natasha Walker-Jones, we've got some things in the mix. I am blessed. God gave me an awesome ministry partner who is a writer, who is into PR, who is, man, Oprah better watch her back. Let me just say it like that. Oprah better watch her back, because Natasha's coming. And so he gave me this person, this partner that can help. She helps correct me. Sometimes I get a little too busy, get a little side. She'll say, "Hell, baby, don't look right. Reword that," or you should change this or that. And so she's a help me. She's a true help me, a true partner. And so we've got some things cooking that are on the horizon, where we're trying to make a better platform for the urban gospel artists, for urban ministry, period. Because it's not just the music. Urban missionaries, folks that want to be real. That's the one thing we about to keep it at 100.
Yes, sir.
These young people nowadays ain't playing. Yes, you cannot fake the funk with them, because they will check you. And Black Twitter ain't nothing to play with. No, sir. The social media thing, you get caught slipping, you go be canceled. So you got to be 100 with it. You got to stay real with them. And so we want to be able to provide that platform and do the things that God has blessed us to do, because we just started a thing, and I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but we started, we're doing it once a month now, but hopefully we'll be able to pick up the pace later on, a Friday evening program called The Reset, where we call it fellowship. Oh man, that's so bad. I ain't even got my card around. But it's basically a time of fellowship, worship, and mentorship, and be able to bring young people together and be real. We're bringing in folks, so the next time you come through, Atlanta, man, we gotta get you in. I gotta swing down, bro. Yes, sir. But we doing some stuff that we wanna. We just trying to advance the culture, advance the cause of Christ, build the kingdom.
Let me ask you this, bro. You mentioned your wife, man, and I love seeing when husband and wives work together in the kingdom, doing kingdom business, because it takes, I'm gonna say on both sides, it takes a lot of understanding, and it takes people always talk about being on one accord, but they really don't understand what that really means, in my opinion. A lot of people say, well, I want somebody that's going to be equally yoked with me, this and that, this. I said, that's good. I said, but it's good to when the work start happening. That's what, bro, that's when you see, because see, my wife, man, my wife, man, been married to her forever.
Oh, she grind.
Yeah, she get down. And so people, people like, they would always ask, like, well, man, what was it? What do you tell her? I said, I ain't tell her nothing. I said, in our house, we work, our concept is simple. It's like, if she in the front, I work in the background. If I'm in the front, she work in the background. It's like we just tag team like that. It ain't no grudging thing. It ain't no, I'm tired of this or that. It's just she understand. I'm glad you mentioned that, because hearing you and your wife doing what y'all doing, she got to understand what's going on. Because a lot of people, they get involved in ministry, and then they get tired, they get weary, they get tired, they like, okay, I don't know what to do. Especially in gospel rap. I talk to a lot of artists that saying, I wish I had a wife or a helpmate that can help me do this, because some cats, I don't throw names around. But I talk to cats that's like, hey, I'm with somebody, bro, and she won't even sit at my table and sell T-shirts. I said, hey, that's okay. I just kind of leave it alone, shoot a prayer and go on. I'm saying, hey, I want to tell her, say, man, you might want to revisit that, but I ain't going to say nothing. That ain't my thing. But, bro, let me ask you this, bro. What as far as, talk about that dynamic, the husband and wife dynamic, working in ministry. Because I tell people, man, gospel rap is it's music business, but it's also a ministry because we're ministering to souls, and people are listening to all kind of music out here. And I'm not knocking the cats who making the music. They need saving too. But
right.
We listen to music that's glorified death, basically. Just say, just give me the Draco. I'm going to go shoot up everybody at Home Depot, the club. I'm going to go home, watch ESPN and eat me a hamburger like I ain't finna go to jail. Like, come on, man. That ain't what it is. But talk about that husband and wife dynamic, man, in ministry working together has beneficial. And, if it don't work, it has not beneficial.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I gotta share our story. I'll do it as quickly as possible. The reality is,
you got it, bro.
My wife and I just got married
right.
About 4.5 years ago.
Right.
But I've known her since 1989. We met in college, and when we look back, maybe God was trying to work that thing out then.
Right.
That she wasn't flirting, but we would have interactions and. There were times where I would be wearing my sunglasses and she would come up and take my sunglasses off. She said, "Why are you hiding your pretty eyes?" I said, "Why?" Right. She actually nicknamed me Blue back then. Right. And so when we actually linked up again years later, she said, "Well, I was throwing hints back then. You're the only person I ever gave a nickname to." I'm like, "Well, that's not clear signal, but okay." Right, but anyway, fast forward, we both lived some life, 27 years of, career and marriages. And, God finally got us in that space where we were both available. We were both ministry minded. And that was a key component. And so after fasting and prayer, long talks, discussing, not no fluff talks, like what you do and what you do and all that. No, we were talking about, vision and what God has told you, what your belief about this is and that type of thing. And although we were both raised in the same faith tradition, it's serious. People could be unequally yoked and go to the same church. Yes, and so we had to, come on one accord. And not saying it's perfect. I mean, the reality is there are things that come up in marriage, because especially if you got two people who are talented, on fire for the Lord, Satan's going to do things to try to disrupt it. Yes, and sir. I mean, the reality is that's just what it is. But the benefits of working together, I mean, it can't be measured. First of all, you always got your partner there. You ain't got to worry about your partner being off somewhere, and can't reach him. Right, no, I'm sleeping with my partner. We got pillow talk talking about business and ministry. So, that's a blessing. And now the challenge is both of us are alpha. We're both alpha personalities. And so we're navigating that space, and God knows that things are much better, because it used to be, well, I'm doing this and are you doing that? And, and we had to grow into learning how to work with each other's style, because we, two different styles, nobody's the same. But God has blessed us to work through this space. So now things are clicking much better. We just launched, formed the ministry back when we got married in 2017. But now it's really coming public with COVID. We started doing the weekly shows, and then now we're in a physical space. The space I'm in now is the building we have an office in, and we're able to use the open space to host ministry events, hold meetings and that type of thing. And so God is really blessed. We actually, one time after we had came to look at the space, we were considering what we're going to do. I had a job offer elsewhere. We didn't know whether we were going to be here or be gone. But then I'm telling you, God will send people to you right when you need it. Yes, and so we went across the way, got something to eat, was walking, exploring a little shopping area I'd never been into, walked into a men's store and walked up on a prophet. And when I say this, a true prophet of God, he told us stuff, and we had never met this man before. He very specific things that we were like, oh my God, we were in there tripping. We ended up staying in like 3 hours talking to this man. And he just pouring out what the Lord showed him. we just walked in that thing. So, it ain't like he knew us before, so we knew it was a true prophecy. And then shortly after that, God kept sending confirmation after confirmation. And, it's a beautiful thing when you have a wife that's on the same wavelength, that is praying for you, praying with you. We have our separate prayer time. We have our joint prayer time. We make sure whenever we having arguments, we go to the Lord in prayer at the end, and get some resolution and get some, bring that thing to close it out and let God be the one. Because sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I think she's wrong.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes it's a matter, okay, God, show me, please show me. Because I love this woman. I know you put us together. I asked God for this woman after we first started talking. I specifically said, God, may I have her? And he answered my prayer. So we can't allow Satan to disrupt what we're doing because we got personality conflicts or, whatever issue may come up, because we know this is a God thing. And that's, and the fact that we were friends first, because it was 27 years, we were friends, we were still friends. We had contact throughout those years, but we didn't really get together until after that. And so it's just a beautiful thing. I am grateful for the partner that I have, and she's a preacher too. In fact, we have our T-shirts for our ministry. Mine says Preacher One, hers says Preacher TOO. And so
Preacher Two already.
and so it's a blessing. Like I said, there ain't nothing like it to be able to have that ministry partner and know that God is in the mix.
And see, people that's watching, they think, oh, they're just talking about rap things. Like, no, we talk about everything on this show. It can be rap. We can talk about everything. And I love hearing that because, let me say this too. I tell everybody this, man. It's just an inside marriage thing. I tell people that's married. I say, when you're married, when you reach the 5th year, you are officially a marriage counselor. You're a marriage expert. You're a marriage counselor. Cause look here, I tell everybody, I say, cause marriage, look at, man, I've been through it too. I'm like, you go marriage, it's like a roller coaster. It go up. Up. That thing, you just riding good. That thing just take a dip. Boom. You're like, man, where that dip come from?
Right.
And then you go up. Then you ride good in another. But the thing is, man, that I love hearing is that y'all working together. That's the key, because people ask us all the time, well, how y'all get things? I said, man, you have to work together. You got to work together. You got to sacrifice. You got to okay, we got to do this. Let's put it on schedule. Let's make it happen. Let's figure this thing out. And the key is, let's pray. Let's touch and agree as God. Do you want us to do this? Do you want us to move here? Do you want us to make this move or not? And that's the key. Like you said, a lot of people, they just jump out and say, okay, I'm going to do it, and then just drag everybody else along. It's like, no, man, that ain't going to work, man. I promise. Well, we finna move to Seattle, Washington. Like, Joker, what's in Seattle? We don't know. Well, let's go see. Now you get up there in Seattle, ain't nothing happening. You ain't up back, Say, no, that ain't going to work, bro. Bro, let me ask you this, man. Gospel rap today, bro, from when you started, when I started, bro, where you see it right now. Because a lot of people, I'm going to say this, a lot of people, they, I listen to a lot of gospel rap podcasts, and I hear some of the same things in all the podcasts, what they saying, now, got rappers that's out here just doing the fool, man. And I'm like, man, y'all boys ain't ministering. They just rhyming words together, rat, cat, pack, scat, and Jesus. I'm like, man, what you saying, man? And so, bro, man, I know you hear it, man. Especially you in Atlanta. I know you hear it out there, man. Bro, tell me, talk to us, man. What's going on with rap, with this gospel rap in 2021, man?
I'm gonna tell you this. Here's what I've observed.
Go ahead.
In over 20 years I've been in this gospel rap game. Like I said, it has matured.
Right.
But there are just as many fools now as there were back then.
Right.
I don't know how many Holy Hip Hop Awards you went to.
Oh,
And I
plenty.
can't even remember the rapper's name, but there was one time this rapper rolled up to the Gospel Hip Hop Awards, the Holy Hip Hop Awards, in a Hummer with bins and rims, and,
Right.
leaned out and all this. I'm like, dude, that ain't what this about.
Right.
And so I am grateful that we got some serious rappers today
Right.
that are unafraid, unashamed. They are lyrically tight. Some folks are more controversial than others. I'm gonna be, 100. I'm a fan of Bizzle. Bizzle comes with it, but Bizzle also on the same album, he's got Lucky You, where he is ripping cats.
Right.
He's got the gospel, where he is breaking down the story of salvation from the beginning, like nobody I've ever heard.
Right.
And so, and the reality is, if the music ain't tight, I developed this sense early on where if I'm introduced to some new music, I listen with a critical ear immediately the first time.
Right.
And so I'm listening to the lyrics. I know how to tune and listen to the lyrics. I'm listening to the music, of course. But if they ain't talking about nothing, they only getting played once.
But I know that's right.
If they got a real message, if what they're saying can reach the young people, can reach the thug, can reach the unchurched, then I'm rocking with it. I'm putting it on my playlist. I'm taking every opportunity I got to take my 3,000 watts of PA system out to the hood and blast it.
Yes, sir.
I'm with it. And so, but it doesn't seem to be any different proportion of quality versus non-quality or more secular-minded rappers today than there were back then. The reality is we just have more of a platform with the social media, with all the internet and everything. So there is more of an opportunity for people to put their stuff out. And that means more people putting trash out along with ones that are good. But there are so many good rappers. And the reality is a lot of these rappers are being held accountable by some within the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Shaolin came out with his album a couple of years ago where he was straight checking the gospel rap industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and the reality is one, that's what their pastor's supposed to do.
Right.
If anyone's out here doing gospel rap and they don't go and they ain't going to church, something wrong.
Right.
If they ain't got a spiritual mentor, then what kind of disciple are you? If you're going to be a disciple of Christ, you got to have a rabbi.
Right.
You got to have somebody that is mentoring you, that's pouring into you, is someone that can say, hey, that ain't quite what the Bible says.
Right.
That ain't exactly something that Christ would do.
Right.
And so we have to, like I said, I hear more good than bad, which is a blessing. But the reality is we hear more, period, because there's more access now.
Right. I like that, bro. Hey, you broke that thing down like a real gospel rap OG. I like that answer, bro. I like that.
Listen, man, I've been doing this thing a long time.
I know,
we were talking about before. I want to bring back I was working on a documentary called Let's Talk About Hip Hop back in the day, and now I wouldn't be able to use any of that because it was all shot in SD. So I'm gonna have to go back and re-record a lot of interviews.
Right.
But the reality is there's so much that people don't understand about Christian rap music, including those that are in the industry. Folks that just want to jump out there and think they can do it because they got a microphone.
Right.
Nah, that's not how it works. But I'm hoping that at some point I even had an idea back in the day for some type of association so that we could kind of have a covering for those that didn't have that type of mentorship. So that we can monitor and say, hey, listen, let me do some training. Because I love what Urban D is doing with the conference he does in October. I can't think of the name of it
Flavor Fest.
Flavor Fest, yeah.
Right.
I love what he's doing with that, but we need more of that throughout the country. And there's some folks that are trying to do it. And at some point, I want to do a whole Let's Talk About Hip Hop weekend, so we can pour into these young cats. Those of us that have been doing it forever, to let them know, listen, yeah, you got the new sound and new equipment. Yeah, we didn't have all that stuff back in the day.
Right.
But we were still putting together some hot beats, and we were still putting together some bars. And so we got something we can contribute and help you take this thing to another level and still keep it in the Christian vein.
Yes, bro. I like what you said about the associations and the conferences, because I remember when I remember one time when it was conferences all over the country. I mean, the California, Texas, we did ours here, Florida. I want to say Ohio had Midwest gospel.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
New York still have that. I think that's a Marcus Hall name up in New York. Shout out to Marcus Hall.
Right.
Kingdom Trust Wars. So we need. I'm with you on that, man. We need more conferences and just associations in the gospel space to talk about the ministry, business. Right. If you married, people that's actually married like yourself, like me, they can talk to married couples and say, hey, this how y'all should get down when you in this space, because people be looking, there's a lot of people out there saying, hey, I want to be married, and I like how Il and his wife and how they move together. I want that, and then you can pour into them. Cause look at now, you're a marriage counselor now, man. So you just gotta accept. Look, I'm giving you the degree today. You just gotta accept the degree, bro. Bro, let me ask you this, man. What? Cause I'm with you on, man. I'm talking about everything you saying, man. I'm with it because we need more structure. We need more business structure, more networking. Just more networking and artists just saying, hey, get off your island. I'm getting off mine, and let's see what we can do together. And then we go back to doing what we're doing. But at the end of the day, it's still business. But what can we do? Business wise, because I tell everybody this, man. I know you see this too. The business side of Christian hip hop is the music getting better, the videos getting way better. The packaging, the CD art and all that stuff. Cats got their T-shirts and hey, cats rapping their whole cars down. Shout out to them boys in Memphis. They rapping their whole cars down, talking about what they doing. Right. So the business side, but what can we do to strengthen the business side of Christian hip hop, bro?
Well, the reality is that those of us that have been in it for some time need to mentor the young cats. Right. And we need more people who love the culture, but are not necessarily going to be artists or dancers, anything like that. They need to go to school. Right. They need to go get them MBAs, and they need to be managers, and they need to be booking agents, and they need to learn how to really engage in a way so that they can support this thing. Because I mean, without that undergirding, without that business, I mean, and the reality is there's big differences in how this thing is done. There's no what in the Army used to call a SOP, a standard operating procedure. Right. So you got cats like this one cat, well, I don't know, it's gonna be $10,000 for me to come do a show. $10,000. Right. Or this one's gonna come for free. And a lot of times the one coming for free gonna rap better than the one that charging $10,000. For sure. But because there's no standard. Right. There's no nothing to say, okay, this is what it should cost. This is what it's going to cost me to come there. And then there are some real ones out there that are like that. This is what it don't cost to come, and then anything above that, is a blessing. So I tried to, when I was doing shows on the radio, I tried to bless as much as I could. Make sure the expense would take care and bless as much as I could. Sometimes more than others because folks didn't come out. But I think now we have the advantage to be able to do better marketing, to be able to do, like I said, the packaging, the T-shirts, everything is better now. But we just got to get the people that are behind the scenes willing to handle the business aspect a little better. I know the record labels are doing it better, that side, but that contact with the consumer needs to be better. Working with the promoters, setting up the tours. We have very few people doing tours nowadays. Business is going to be running through here at the end of the month on his tour with Davey. And Lecrae, he'll do a tour. But you don't really hear too much other than that. And the times that I've tried to set up stuff, shout out to my man Tony Woe. He was doing the Gas Money tour. I remember we brought him to East Tennessee. Him and Classy K came through and did they did the Gas Money tour, which is cool. And so we were happy to help out that way. But we need to get some people in place that can put these tours together, and that's going to help the brand overall. Period. If they're more organized and you get that structure where the tours are being boosted on Facebook and doing little stuff on TikTok and all this stuff. It all comes down to the marketing, which we have so many more tools than we had back in the day, and I'm glad about it. But we got to get that business side taken care of too.
You hit on the head, bro. I mean, we got that's one thing that I mean, if I could preach one thing in gospel rap, and that's the business side, dog. Because I tell cats, I said, man, look, a lot of cats be like, I think we all came up when it was like, oh, we just gonna do the gospel for free. I said, that was cool. I did that too. I tell people all the time, I said, man, I did about 75 shows before I got paid a cent. I'm talking about just from the promoter. Now we was, selling CDs and T-shirts and everything we had on the table, or wristbands, hats, or whatever we had on the table. But before somebody said, hey, we booking you, sign the contract, pay, man, we about 75 shows in here. And so, but I tell cats now, I said, look, even if you sell T-shirts, you in the music business. Even if you sell a CD, it's cats still selling CDs. And I had a conversation with a party. He said, man, about selling CD. I said, man, look here. Until Walmart and Target stop selling them, Joker, they selling CDs, Joker, and they still making them. Somebody still look here. We was in Dallas. Me and my wife, man, we took the kids, man, before they went back to school. Took them to the water park, man. We was like, hey, we ain't go nowhere last year. We typically go at least on 1, 2, maybe family vacations a year, 1 or 2 every year. Last year with COVID, we just stayed in the house. So this year we said, let's go somewhere quick. We can go, come back. I'm in front of a Walgreens and saw a red box where they sell the movies. I said, man, Joker still bad renting DVDs, man. So it's still something out there. But I tell kids, I said, man, if you still selling those things, you in the music business. You can't talk all that, we're going to do it for free. I said, I understand giving the gospel for free. I said, but man, the thing that I've seen, and you can bounce on this. I guess this analogy is I seen a lot of cats stop because they don't have no money. They go drive 5 hours away, sell 2 CDs, come back, then they go to the next show, sell maybe 4 CDs. They drove 4 hours away, come back. They barely covering the gas money. So they say, hey man, forget this. I'm gonna do something else. And the thing that hurt me is seeing the cats that I remember, I don't knock them or nothing. I remember cats that can get in the room. I'm talking about half the whole room shaking. They cut on that track and I'm talking about goosebumps. And now they doing something totally different. So I'm like, man, I tell people that's the thing that bothered me with that. On the business side, I think we got to get stronger on the business side. Let me ask you this, bro. You out there in Atlanta, man. You been moving around, Atlanta, Alabama, New Orleans. Talk about, especially in the South. I tell people all the time, I say, I love the South. I let people know every week I broadcast from the dirty South. I don't care if you don't like it. Give us a couple of weeks, you gonna love it. Because I'm from the South, ain't nothing changing, and it is what it is. Bro, moving around in the South, bro, what's your view of the Christian rap scene in the South? Texas to Florida, Tennessee to New Orleans. What's your saying? What's your thoughts on it, man?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, the South really has got it locked. I mean, the reality is, we still got, you still got your East Coast cats that a lot of the older school cats were from the East Coast. But Houston, Atlanta, New Orleans, Holy Alliance is still doing it in Alabama. Nashville has got a crew of rappers. And I was out when I passed in East Tennessee, Morristown, Tennessee. There was a group out there. My first music video I recorded was a group called Down South Disciples. and them dudes was killing it. There's cats out of Asheville, North Carolina. I mean, Florida got a whole gang of folk,
Florida all over the place.
Like Petty D,
right.
Out of Duval.
Yes, sir.
So it's the South. When they got into the game, and really, I mean, and you mentioned Trey Nine earlier,
right.
Nolly Williams, all them cats were doing it in Houston.
Yes, sir.
And then Reach Records came to Atlanta. Like I said, I can't wait to get Let's Talk About Hip Hop Born Again, so I can go through this history and talk about these cats and showcase the ones that were grinding. I mean, the boy, what's the boy name from Great Tree Records? Lil Rascal.
Lil Rascal, yeah.
Grinding, man. All these cats were, so the South has represented itself well within Christian rap.
Right.
And I'm probably D1. I just thought about D1 out of Knowles,
right,
up there in Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
My boy J May. Although he's a South transplant, he's from Detroit, but he came down to the South.
Shout out to J May.
Yes,
we got him on the show. Hey, we got him on the show in about 2 weeks, man.
Oh, bet. I have to make sure I tune in. That's my dude. He got a new album out.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the South, man. Hey, ain't nothing like that dirty South. We down here to clean it up. Oh man, I can't forget Memphis.
Oh man, Memphis all over the place.
Oh man, Mr. Dale in the building.
Yes, sir.
So man, we, like I said, I would, out of areas, Chicago got a nice flow. Detroit, I got much love for the D. I lived up there for a little while.
Right.
I got a chance to network with a lot of them cats, did some shows up there. But the reality is, the South, from North Carolina over to Texas, man, there's so many gospel raps, man. Like I said, I can't even wait to chronicle that when I get on the grind.
But we need it, man. I'm ready. I told you before the show, man. You already know. It's the South is just different, man. It's what for me when I go outside the South, like California. I tell people all the time, just in rap, period. Just rap. I'm talking about secular everything. The South and the West Coast are cousins. East Coast, Midwest, they cousins. I said, I get the most slack when I step north or east. That's when they, oh man, who this old southern dude with all these old loud colors on? I said, give me the mic and get out the way. And you gonna bring us back, man, because we gonna make it real loud in here. And so I be joking with them, man. But the thing is, man, you hit it on the head, bro. The South, man, it's so much. And bro, please do that. I tell people all the time, I'm not saying just because we doing the show. I'm doing it because what you doing and what you got out for is chronicalizing gospel rap and the artists and the grind of it, man. We need it. And I think when more people see that, they'll say, okay, this is something serious. I think people heard of gospel rap, Christian hip hop, and I've talked to people that they say, yeah, I heard of it, but a lot of people still thinking, oh, okay, it's a church thing, or they got on suits and ties, rapping on stage. I said, no, joke, I ain't wearing no shiny shoes, man, and a tie. No, give us the mic and get out the way, and we're gonna show you what it is. But man, bro, please do that, do it, man. Do it.
I'm going to, man. Like I said, God gave me the confirmation to go ahead and dust it off and revisit it. So I'll probably have to do a show here to get some new footage of me actually presenting. But then I'm gonna get them interviews done, man.
Right.
So you up this way or I'm down that way. We gonna get it in,
bro,
man.
You already know, man. I'm just 8 hours away, man. When I tell you, man, I tell people, I said, man, when I tell you, I done been through the South. I'm talking about coast to coast to coast. Look at what the Bible say, the hedges and the highway. Joke, I done been through I done been through all the backyards in the South. Backyard Mississippi, backyard Tennessee, backyard Texas, backyard Georgia. I done been up and down them things. That's what I love about gospel rap, because a lot of artists just want to go to these major cities. Atlanta, Memphis, Dallas, Houston, Nashville. I said, man, go down to Greenville, Mississippi, man.
Oh yeah, go down to
to
Sumter, South Carolina.
yes, sir. Montgomery, Alabama. Go down to them spots, man. What's the Ocala, Florida? Go down to them spots down there, man. I said, man, and people, I think people in those areas, not to say the bigger cities don't appreciate you, but in those areas when they say, hey man, ain't nobody coming down here doing this. You know, I remember when you brought us down to Mississippi. I think that was Greenwood. Belzoni? Was it Belzoni? Grenada, Mississippi. Grenada, yeah. But people appreciated that, man. They was like,
oh man, we had so much fun, man.
I remember, man, they said, man, can y'all please come back down? I remember speaking to a pastor down there. They came out, he said, man, look, here go, man, boy, y'all come back. I said, man, look, we will. And now we working on mixtape stuff and we're trying to figure out this whole COVID thing. You know, I told Cass right now, I said, look, man, we're gonna get on this road, we're gonna get the van, we're gonna wrap it down, and we're gonna get down. And so and move around. So, bro, let me ask you this, bro. Where gospel rap going, man? Where is it heading? Where you see it here? Cause I love, look at this the curveball I like throwing in the show, because a lot of cats, I like the answers. You know, a lot of cats that's really, I'm gonna say this, I love getting the answers from the cats that been in it at least 10 or more years, cause you see the evolution of gospel rap. Now we went from the CDs, now we in the streaming space. The social media space now, where you got to utilize social media just to, you know, connect and or reconnect with a lot of cats, man. Where you see it going, bro?
Well, the reality is we the smart ones are going to follow the trends, and they're going to take advantage of the monetization on YouTube, take advantage of the different ways that they can get streaming funds in. Because the reality is, when you talking about CDs, I was like, ooh, yeah, I can't tell you the last time I listened to a CD.
Right.
You know, so the ones that are smart, they're doing stuff like investing in music videos, so they can get those stream numbers up, monetize the videos, so they get their change that way. Right. But more than that, once this COVID thing dies down, the reality is they got to do shows. I mean, the shows, but they're gonna have to do it in a way that's smart business-wise. My wife always talks about making sure that you know your value.
Yes, sir.
And she gets on to me. She talking about your price is too low. You need to raise your prices. Know your worth and that type of thing too. And it's true. We got to know our work, and so it's a difficult thing for the gospel artists though, because you want to be able to get the message out. Those that have a heart. I mean, let me clarify that, because there are those that are just doing it to get paid, and then there's those that have a heart for the gospel. And so the ones that have the heart for the gospel have to do that balance. But I think more and more churches and promoters are understanding that this is not something that is a hobby anymore. There are folks who are doing this thing full time, and so they're being better about getting a budget so that they can pay the artists, and getting the contracts and everything set. But young artists better recognize you still got to pay your dues.
Yes, sir.
You got to pay your dues. You got to do that grind. You got to invest in order to get to that point before you get them contracts. You might not have to wait 70 shows, but you have to do some shows for free.
Yes, sir.
But you just got to find some ways to monetize your brand. Make sure your stuff is on par. I believe that the recording quality and all this stuff is not going to do anything but get better. The producers that are out there. I mean, I heard of some new music today, and the production was like, ooh, man,
just nasty.
I mean, it was just like, man, it was sickening. It was COVID flu. It was that cold. I was like, okay, yeah.
Lord.
See, so the production is to that level. Now it's all on the artist. You can't there's no excuse for bad production now. It's plain and simple. No, I'm not a producer for real, but I can put together a hot beat on my iPad, on my computer. So there's no excuse for bad production nowadays. You can buy these royalty-free beats that banging, So there's no excuse. So now you just have to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do, working as unto the Lord, operating in the spirit of excellence, And those that are operating with those standards and handling their business, I truly believe at some point there's going to be a break in the secular industry, and there's going to be an opening for Christian rap artists to fill that void. We already see it, and some folk, I'm going to tell you, some folk don't like it. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about Bizzle and some of the stuff he does, where he will go in and battle rap, where he goes in and disses some of the secular artists, and it's not really him dissing the artists, but he's calling them on this stuff they're doing.
Right.
And so he's generated a lot of stuff, because he got a lot of when he responded to Joyner Lucas and when he did the Lucky You, they got a lot of response, in the secular arena. And so now the light's going to shine on him and God Over Money and his whole crew. And by virtue of that, other Christian rap artists are going to have the opportunity to engage with the secular arena and the secular crowd. And they have to be unafraid when they do that. Because a lot of times folks that go in the arena, they all, get real political, and because they don't want to mess with their money. But if you go with holy boldness and not being disrespectful, but not getting punked, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna have God's gonna honor your faith, honor that boldness, so that you can have the larger platform. You can go places that you never thought you'd be able to go, just by being unashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Bro, let me tell you something, man. When I tell you, we have reached I'm talking about the end of the show. But bro, I'm gonna tell you what you just said. Man, we could talk. I'm talking about we could talk a whole another 2 hours. Man, let me tell you something, man. You hit on head, because these secular artists, these boys going in, and they going hard. And I like what you said. We can't be punked going into these arenas. When God said, okay, go rap at the club. Go rap on the same what's these tours? I know I'm gonna say them wrong, so anybody listen, don't be inbox. Man, you said that all wrong, that's all right. You know what I'm saying? Was it Lollapalooza and the one that just had the one in Vegas, a day in Vegas or something like that. It was like 3 days.
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah, that's one. It was like, it's kind of like a Lollapalooza, but it was just 3 days in Vegas, a number of artists. And so when we go into those arenas, come with you, man. I'm like, the gospel rap artists can't go into those arenas. And I tell people all the time, man, cats I've talked to over the years, they know how I feel about it. I tell myself, man, look here, if a Snoop Dogg or somebody call me, they call him because they say, I already know how you coming anyway. So ain't no sense of me getting on no track and trying to spit 16 bars talking about how big my rims are on the rim.
Right.
And how big and how shiny my chain is. That ain't what it is. And so I like what you said, bro, going into those arenas, not getting punked, and know why you going into these arenas, because that's still a fight within the gospel rap genre. Except from cats like, I ain't doing no with these secular boys. I said, well, you already work a job with them. What's the difference?
Right.
I said, if you work at Goodyear Tires and y'all making tires, man, hey, you flipping them around the thing and you giving them to him, he put them in the box. What's the difference? I said, you trying to live safe, and he thinking about going to the club and getting him a fifth of this and a fifth of that. So, or a shot of this, a shot of that. I said, you already doing it. But, bro, you hit on the head, man. Look here. Bro, let me ask you this before we get off this thing, bro. Truly Blessed Media, man. Talk about it, bro. Where it's going, bro. And how can everybody reach you on Truly Blessed Media, bro?
Well, man, Truly Blessed Media started out as Truly Blessed Communications, which is where I got the WTBC radio from. Right. But over the years, I was into the radio. I was doing some artist management. I was in a record label for half a year, and all these different things. But God really pulled me into the visual media realm. Right. And so I transferred and changed it from Truly Blessed Communications to media, so that we can encompass the visual media. And so for a while I was showing the music videos on our site, but now I've gotten to a lot of content creation with music videos and documentaries. We did our TV show called Learn from the Journey for our ministry. And now I partner with my wife. We're doing it's called Blue Sunshine. She nicknamed me Blue back in the day, and I call her Sunshine. And so we came together, and we're working on doing some documentaries, some historical stuff. At some point we'll do film as I grow, get more of that equipment that we can do those high-end things.
Yes,
we'll be able to do more and more as God gives us the grace to do it. But it's really a ministry support company. We've done installations for church media centers. I do media training. Actually going to have got something on the horizon, cooking now, some media training to help people, in particularly churches, because this COVID thing caught these churches off guard. But I've been talking about it for years.
Yes,
Let me come in and help you. Let me set up your media center.
Yes,
Let me do this.
Yes, sir.
And so many people, and the crazy part is, when it first hit, I said, let me do a training. I offered to do training for folks. Nobody bit, and they're still, doing this stuff that don't look good. It's
tell truth, man.
It's been a year and a half. Y'all ain't improved the media stuff. Let me help you. So now more people are more willing to talk about it and be more open to it. So I'm putting together a program to try to help these churches, help folks that want to engage more in the virtual arena. There's so many tools out there to be able to do the things. And so I just want to help God look good. I want to help the people that are representing God to look good. So we do me and you are in the same vein. We do the graphic design,
yes,
we do all that stuff. And just doing what we can to help the body. Christian business owners, I did a commercial for a barber and salon, Christian owned. So just any way I can help these businesses get their weight up, because Christians got to eat too. So I'm trying to help them represent well. Just because you're a Christian-owned business don't mean you got to be, raggedy. God wants you to look good too.
Yes, sir.
So that's just what we do. You can learn more about us, trulyblessedmedia.com. Truly Blessed Photography is the photography side, but if you go to the Truly Blessed Media page, you can link out to the different sites. And when we got the space that we're in now, we actually formed what we call the Walker Jones Collaborative. And that website's going to be up this week, where you can link out to all of the sites. My wife's business is called House of David, where she does professional writing, sets up nonprofits, writes grants, edits books, script writing, the whole nine, anything dealing with writing and PR, she does it. And our heart is for the community, so trying to help the folks get up. So we're going to have that website out. You can link out to everything that we're doing. So shout out to the missus, and be just looking forward to what God's going to do through us.
Man, I tell you what, man, let me tell you something before you get off this thing, bro. I love hearing that, man. And I'm not saying that, some people say stuff cause a show. Oh, man, I say something. No, man. I love hearing that, because, and especially what you said about the churches, man. When I tell you, bro, we were sitting in the hotel. We were sitting in the hotel the night before we checked out, and me and my wife were just having a conversation, and it came up about. I told her, I don't know how we got into it, but I said, you know how many pastors I talked to for years to prepare? I said, hey, you need this type of camera, you need this type of mic, you need you need to run this type of wire through your church. And they was like, oh, no. But they would come by my office, and they made, and shout out, they know I love them boys if they watching. They know I love them. But they would come by my office, they'll order some brochures and show me the Cadillac. I got a new Cadillac downstairs. Look out your window. I'm like, okay, I see your Cadillac, man. You need to go get that thing back and go get that big red Dragon camera for the same.
Right.
Get your two of them. You know what I'm talking about? But for folks, hey, Google a red Dragon. They say, oh man, that thing cost that much just the box. Joke is $30,000. So they made a less expensive model. That's like 5 and 6 now. But I told myself, man, you need to get that Cadillac back and go get you this stuff so you can set up your church for now. What is? Well, I think from here moving forward, even when COVID and God say he done with the COVID stuff and doing what he doing his handiwork, when that's so, I think everything gonna be more virtual now. You know, it's a convenience on everybody, so they have to. Bro, they gotta prepare. But bro, I'm gonna say this before we get off this thing, man. Bro, I sure appreciate you jumping on, man.
It's an honor, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you jumping on, man, because I like I told you before, man, that you know, keep that grind, man. Keep that. It's I tell people all the time, it's certain cats we just need in the game. That we need in the gospel aspect. You one of them. I ain't saying this cause a show. I'm saying you one of them. And I think if everybody do their part in whatever city we living in, and just network this thing on that, everybody can grow, everybody can eat. Gospel rap a little good. I like what you said. We in the making Jesus look good business, you know. And bro, when I tell you, when I fully understood that concept years ago, I said, okay, I better start making the music look good, the graphics look good, invest in these cameras that folks just passing up on the shelves, and you know, and I understand that. I know you get it out there in Atlanta, bro. So, bro, let me ask this, bro. We're gonna close on this, bro. Any last words, bro? And then tell everybody how they can follow you on social media.
Oh man, you can follow me on Instagram, Pastor E.L. Jones Jr. Truly Blessed Photography.
Yes, sir.
My new brand is Blue Sinaj, and please follow Midtown Ministry on IG and on Facebook. That's the new ministry. My wife and we're doing some grand things. In fact, I thought we'd be done by 8 o'clock. So there's on the Midtown Ministry Facebook page, a sermon I just preached called "Make War" is premiering right now.
Oh Lord, I done carried on. Don't get mad at me, preacher too. Don't get mad.
It's all good. And she would have made an appearance, but she's actually in finishing up a Master of Public Health degree from Tulane, and so she had class tonight. She would have came out and showed her pretty face on there as well. But if you go to our one other initiative too. Go ahead, if anybody's watching from Atlanta, I don't know, you've heard the news, a lot of stuff is going down in Atlanta. The violence on the rise, crime on the rise. So one of the things we did through Midtown Ministry is initiate a citywide prayer call. We're covering the city in prayer on Monday mornings at 6 a.m. Each week we have a guest pastor that comes and gives a short inspirational thought and then prays for the city. Right. And so we're promoting that. We've got this coming week, we've got Pastor Drake Barber of the Maranatha Church. After that, we've got Pastor Kevin Early of the Community Church of God. We're looking for pastors to come on board and pray with us over the city. We believe in the power of prayer. So please follow Midtown Ministry, like us on Facebook, search for us on YouTube. We're on YouTube. We don't have enough likes to get that custom URL yet, but please go and subscribe. But we are serious about ministry. I love the music, love the entertainment and all that, but the core value is winning souls, affecting our community, doing the things that Jesus was doing when he was here on earth. We believe in doing those things. Our motto is worship through service. So the bottom line is this: I'm a pastor, I'm seminary trained. My wife is a minister in her own right, and a servant of God too. And we want to help people be saved. And if you're interested in learning more about what we do, please reach out to us. We're happy to come and share what we're doing and multiplying and getting more. It ain't about competition, it's about collaboration.
Yes, sir. Bro, and we're going to end it on that, bro. I tell you what, man, look here. anything we can do. You already know, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
just
sir,
an
man. Ain't
inbox.
nothing but love, man.
That's it, an inbox
All love.
phone call away. Cause I'm with you, bro. I'm all about ministry, man. You know, and it's the dirty work, but I love it. You know, I love it, man. I tell people, I say I get these fingernails and these toenails dirty in the ministry. Bro, we gonna end it on
It is
that,
the
bro.
dirty South, baby.
Yes, sir, already. They already know what it is, bro. And we're going to end it on that tonight, Brother E.L. Jones. And we're going to get off this
sir.
thing. Yes, sir, already. And that's what we got for tonight. Look here, man. Let me get this thing back over here. Hey, man, that was another good show, man. That was another good show. Let me tell y'all something, man. We at show number 49, and we just building this thing out. We trying to get the show 500. We grinding, we growing. The refill, it may be something different for y'all, for those that's not familiar with the gospel rap space, but keep on watching, and I promise you will love it after a while. Man, that was a good show, man. I've been knowing EL for a long time, you know, and I love talking to the cats that they're still in it, they're still, you know what I'm saying, they still evolving and they still growing and they understand ministry, you know. Gospel rap is a different type of ministry. You know, we can rap with the best of these boys out here. You know, cut the beat on, give us the mic, get out the way. But gospel rap, there's a ministry component to gospel rap that help people come to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people say, man, how can rap music cause people to come to Jesus? Well, that's where the beauty of God come in at, because he can use anything. He's a by all means necessary God when he trying to do something, when he trying to relay a message. You know, he can use anything. He can use somebody playing a tambourine. You know what I'm saying? He can use somebody tap dancing. He can use somebody astronaut. It's like he got his people all over the earth, you know, in politics. He got people in the music business, in the photography business, in Hollywood. He got people all over. He got people that they may have a kayaking company. All they do is kayak on the water all day. You know, kayaking ain't my thing. But he got his people all over, man. And so I love interviews like this to see the cats that's still in it, that's still grinding, that's still getting it, that's still putting it down, you know, and they 10 toes down in it, you know, and not only that, they're investing in what they're working on. That's the key. I don't know if y'all caught it. If you didn't, just rewind the video, look at it and start from the beginning, you'll see it. Where Brother Yale was talking about investing in what you're doing. That's what we do up here. We invest. Y'all see these green screens, and y'all see all this stuff and moving and all these graphics flying. But that's because we're investing. We're investing in this, and we're invested in making this grow. And so, man, we're glad y'all tuned in. We got another show tomorrow night, episode 50. We finally reached number 50, the big 50. And we got another great artist coming in tomorrow night, same time, same Facebook channel. Soon we'll be on the YouTube channel. We'll be broadcasting live from the YouTube channel at the same time. We just growing, man. We just growing. We figuring this thing out. We grinding and we getting it in, you know, and we're gonna figure out how to be numero uno in this thing, number one, in the gospel rap space, and just showing and spreading light of Jesus just everywhere, man. Because one thing here, we could talk about cars, we could talk about clothes, we could talk about rims, we could talk about what type of house we get, what type of trip we been on, what type of yacht we been on, what type of job we have, what type of money we making. But if we don't have Jesus in our life, it's like all that means nothing. You know, it means absolutely nothing. All that stuff will fade away. You know, and part of what we're doing with this podcast is we highlighting Jesus, but we highlighting his work through the artists, through the DJs, through the promoters, through the influencers. And listen, before we get off this thing, If you want to donate to the show, you see the information at the bottom. You see Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal, so you can donate financially through that. Any amount we do, we take the money, we put it back into growing this platform, and people do donate. So don't be thinking don't nobody donate. People do donate. People watch the show. We get emails, we get inboxes about how can people help out. Also, if you're an artist, if you're a promoter, influencer, or a DJ, and you want to be featured on the show, we're now booking for September and October. August is gone, but September and October, September starting to fill up. So if you want to be a part of the show, just email us. We can send the information over to you. And one last thing, man, like, share, and comment, man. Like, share, and comment, and share this on your page, and let people know, somebody doing something good out in the internet space, out in the social media space. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to promote something good. Yes, we talk about rap. We talk about everything, Christian rap. If you watch our shows, we can dive into other things, politics and marriage and money and investing in business. But the main thing we talk about on this podcast is Christian hip hop. And so I think it's a good thing. And if you think it's a good thing, share this on your page. Let people know what we're doing. We appreciate the help. So on that note, we're going to get off this thing. Every week we gave y'all the double chunk and the boom boom. And we're going to see y'all tomorrow night, show 50, show 50. We're going to see y'all Thursday night.